We held on through the quiet, through the tears we didn't cry. We stayed close through the fading, even when we knew the why. Your hands were like a promise that your heart could not defend, and we kept calling it forever, even though we saw the end. Some love is built on hope, not on what two souls can be. And we try to make it real, but love alone won't set you free. We were almost enough to stay, almost something built to last. We were inches from a future, but too close to our past. We were almost enough to stay, almost perfect in our way, but almost breaks the deepest when love can't find a place to stay. You loved me through the fractures, I loved you through mine too. But some hearts break together when they're trying to stay true. We painted gentle future on a canvas made of fear, and every stroke of hope we drew was shaken through the years. I don't blame you for the ending, I don't blame myself at all. Some souls are meant to grow when their timing makes them fall. We were almost enough to stay, almost something built to last. We were inches from a future, but too close to our past. We were almost enough to stay, almost perfect in our way, but almost breaks the deepest when love can't find a place to stay. How your silence felt like truth, how your tears were made of memories we were too young to soothe. And maybe in another story we'd have learned how not to break. But loving you was tender, even when it was a mistake. Almost love that didn't falter, almost warmth that didn't leave. We were almost enough to stay, and though we went our separate ways, I'll treasure what we almost were. On the nights we almost stayed, on the nights we almost stayed. We had something tender, something fragile, something warm. But fragile things are hardest when they weather through a storm. I try to keep you near me held you closer than my skin, but you slid right through my fingers every time I let you in. Some hearts are meant for holding, no matter how soft the hands. Some love just slips away like water you can't command. You were a love that slipped between fingers, soft and heavy all at once. I tried to keep you warm from fading, but you never learned to trust. You were a love that slipped between fingers, like a truth too light to keep. I held you with my whole heart, but you still fell through the deep. You loved me in the evening, but you feared me in the day. Your heart would be beside me, then grow distant right away. I tried to build a future with the pieces you could give, but future's hard to build with someone scared to truly live. Ooh. And maybe I was reaching for a love you couldn't be, for something soft and certain that was never ours to see. Oh, you were a love that slipped between fingers, softening all at once. I tried to keep you warm from fading, but you never learned to trust. Oh, you were a love that slipped between fingers, like a truth too light to keep. I held you with my whole heart, but you still fell through the deep. Maybe love is just a moment when two hearts align by chance, but ours kept missing rhythm every time we tried to dance. And I wish you'd stayed forever, wish my hands were made to hold, but some love is like a whisper, beautiful, uncontrolled. Oh, you were a love that slipped between fingers, and I feel the emptiness you left. You were gentle, you were fleeting, like a breath I never kept. Oh, you were a love that slipped between fingers. Maybe that's the truth. Some hearts are made for passing, but mine wanted all of you. One feeling here when someone leaves, it stays inside the pillow, where your heartbeat used to run. It feels around me, they still haunt each one. A part of you still a part of you still lives here, in the places you've been. I don't know what's harder, losing you worry amazing. Your warmth stays on my body longer than you ever stayed. Your warmth leaves me left long after you let go. It fades slow like a sunset on the skin you used to know. Your warmth leaves me lost even when your love is past. You disappear so quickly, but your heat learns how to let. I still feel you in the blankets, oh, like you're wrapped around my spine. The room remembers how you breathe, even when you weren't mine. I touch the quiet spaces just to find what didn't leave. Your warmth is like a promise that my heart can't help believe. And it's cruel the way it lingers when your voice has grown so cold. Your warmth was soft and golden. Now it's all that I can hold. Your warmth leaves me lasting long after you let go. It fades slow like a sunset on the skin used to know. Your warmth leaves me last even when your love is past. You disappear so quickly, but your heat learns how to last. Maybe warmth is just a memory that doesn't wanna die. Maybe love stays on the body longer than it stays inside. I wish it didn't harm me, didn't cling like wanting to. But warmth is just the echo of a heart that once knew your warmth. And I don't know who to blame. Maybe loving you too deeply, maybe my skin forget your name. Your warmth leaves me left, but someday it will pass. Until then I'll be holding what's left of what we had. We met when we were hurting, both too bruised to fully try. You held me like a question, I loved you like a quiet why. We fit in gentle moments, but fell apart in every storm. Two hearts that wanted softness, but we're scared of being warm. And I still think about it, how close we were to right. But timing sets the battles that our hearts weren't built to fight. Our hearts didn't match the timing, even though the love felt true. We were standing in the doorway of a life we couldn't choose. Our hearts didn't match the timing, but I felt something real with you, just not enough to keep us. with your caution, held me like a fragile truth. I offered you my healing, but you gave me what you could. We tried to grow in shadows, but the light just hurt our eyes. Some love needs the sunshine, ours was built on cloudy skies. And it's nobody's fault now, it's just how our story fell. Two hearts that spoke in whispers when timing didn't listen well. Our hearts didn't match the timing, even though the love felt true. We were standing in the doorway of a life we couldn't choose. Our hearts didn't match the timing, but I felt something real with you, just not enough to keep us in the version we outgrew. Maybe in another lifetime we know how to stay and fight, hold each other through the chaos, learn the shape of being right. But in this life we collided, just a moment out of place. Two souls that fit in spirit, but not in time or space. Our hearts didn't match the timing, but it doesn't mean we lied. Some love is real and gentle, even when it can't survive. Our hearts didn't match the timing, and that truth still softens me. Loving you is almost forever in a life that wasn't meant to be. Miss you in the morning when the sun slips through the blinds. Your shadow used to follow it, now it leaves your shape behind. I miss you in the hallway where your laughter used to live. Silence took its place now, and it's got nothing left to give. And I don't miss just moments, it's the spaces in between where loved ones form the corners and fill the places now unseen. I miss you in the spaces, in the quiet where you breathe, in the air that holds your memory, in the touch you left on me. I miss you in the spaces where your heart once felt like home. It's the little empty moments that remind me I'm alone. I miss you in the kitchen where your hands make coffee slow. Now I drink it by myself and taste the things I used to know. I miss you on the pillow where your warmth refused to leave. Now the nights feel so much colder, then my heart can still believe. missing you is quiet. It's a shadow on the floor. It's the softest kind of heartbreak that still hurts a little more. I miss you in the spaces, in the quiet where you breathe, in the air that holds your memory, in the touch you left on me. I miss you in the spaces where your heart once felt like home. It's the little empty moments that remind me I'm alone. Maybe I'll feel the silence, maybe time will soften pain. Maybe someday I'll stop searching every space that holds your name. But healing has its patience, and my heart has learned to wait for the day I miss you softly. Instead of breaking from your weight, I miss you in the spaces where your presence used to stay. You're gone from my tomorrows, but my yesterdays still sway. I miss you in the spaces, and maybe that's okay. Some loves live in the quiet, long after they fade away. Your eyes used to light up every time I walked into the room. Now they drift right past me like I'm someone you outgrew. I keep searching for the spark that once lived inside your gaze, but all I find is distance where your devotion used to stay. And I try to smile through it, pretend I don't feel the shift, but you can't fake what love looks like when your eyes no longer live. It's the way you don't look at me now, like I'm something you misplaced, like you're scared to meet my eyes, 'cause they'll show what's been erased. It's the way you don't look at me now, soft but empty, lost somehow. I can take the silence, but not the way you don't look at me now. Your stare once held my heartbeat, now it feels like passing by. You used to look with wonder, now it's barely even shy. Love fades in little glances that stop landing where they should. You see me out of habit, but you don't see me like you would. I wish you'd just be honest, tell me where your feelings went, instead of letting quiet eyes say what your heart never meant. It's the way you don't look at me now, like I'm something you misplaced, like you're scared to meet my eyes, 'cause they'll show what's been erased. It's the way you don't look at me now, soft but empty, lost somehow. I can take the silence, but not the way you don't look at me now. I'd rather hear the heartbreak than read it in your stare. I'd rather face the ending than pretend you still care. Your eyes once held a promise, now they only hold the truth. You're in the same room with me, but your heart is nowhere near you. It's the way you don't look at me now, and it breaks me more each time. Your silence speaks speak so loudly in the places once divine. It's the way you don't look at me now, when I try to understand how love can fade so gently in the way you don't look at me now. You're lying here beside me, but it doesn't feel the same. Your warmth used to wrap around me, now it barely knows my name. Your silence rides a distance that your body tries to hide, and every empty moment feels like love that slowly dies. I keep reaching for your heartbeat, but it's somewhere out of reach. You're close enough to touch, but too far for me to keep. There are shadows where your love should be, cold traces of what we used to feel. You're here, but somehow missing me, and the emptiness is real. There are shadows where your love should be, soft holders of your memory. I feel the space you used to want more than company. You kiss me like you're careful, like your heart might shatter through. But careful isn't loving, it's the fear of losing you. Your touch feels undecided, like it's scared of choosing me. And your eyes look like a story you no longer wanna read. I try to bring us closer, but your soul keeps turning cold. Some people leave the warmest rooms by taking back the love they hold. There are shadows where your love should be, cold traces of what we used to feel. You're here, but somehow missing me, and the emptiness is real. There are shadows where your love should be, soft holders of your memory. I feel the space you used to want more than your company. Maybe love just fades when two hearts stop aligning. Maybe shadows grow the strongest when the light stops shining. I try to chase the warmth, but your soul won't let me in. There's a darkness where your kindness used to settle on my skin. There are shadows where your love should be, and I can't unsee the truth. You're beside me every evening, but you're gone by early noon. There are shadows where your love should be, and it's breaking me to see that I'm holding on to memories in the space where you used to be. carried all your shadows just to keep you in the light. Held the pieces that you dropped every time you try to fight. You leaned on me so gently, but your weight was hard to feel. And I kept calling it love, even when it didn't heal. If softness had a limit, I must have crossed it holding you. Some hearts are meant for heavy, but mine kept trying to push through. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe we could have stayed. Maybe my hands wouldn't tremble every time I watched you fade. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe I wouldn't ache this deep. But some love comes with burdens only one heart has to keep. You whispered all your worry like confessions in the dark. I stitched them into comfort, placed them gently in my heart. I knew you didn't mean to, but you left your weight on mine. And I carried you so softly, I ignored my warning sign. I try to stay unbroken, try to hold your world alone, but even gentle hearts get tired when they're loving on their own. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe we wouldn't fall apart. Maybe we'd still feel the warmth instead of distance in the heart. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe love would feel more kind. But the burden that you carried started living in my mind. Maybe love should lift you, now weigh your spirit down. Maybe I was sinking just to keep you from the ground. And though I don't regret it, though I do it all again, loving you came with a cost that I feel beneath my skin. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe we'd still share the night. Maybe I'd feel less broken, and you hold me like I'm right. If loving you wasn't heavy, maybe we'd still be true. But some love hurts too deeply when only one heart carries two. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't lose you suddenly. You slipped away in little ways. The warmth inside your laughter turned to quiet, colder days. Your eyes stopped lighting up for me. Your hands forgot their place. And every time you held me, there was distance in your face. I kept trying to deny it, kept pretending you were mine. But love doesn't break instantly, sometimes it breaks over time. I grew over time, like a shadow in the light. still said I love you, but the meaning changed its shape. It sounded more like a habit than a promise you could make. I felt you drifting inward, like a tide that wouldn't stay. You were here in every moment, but your heart was far away. I begged the truth to hold me, even when the signs were clear. You didn't leave a shouting, you just stopped being here. I grew over time, yeah, like a shadow in the light. You didn't leave in footsteps, you left slowly, night by night. Your goodbye grew over time, over time. Spaces you stopped trying. The saddest part of losing you was watching us keep dying. Maybe loving without feeling is a heartbreak of its own. Staying while you're leaving feels colder than being alone. I hoped you'd find your way back, but the truth became the sign. Your heart was gone already, just your body stayed with mine. Your goodbye grew over time, quiet, patient, undefined. A love that slowly vanished while you stayed right by my side. Grew over time. I finally see, oh, you didn't leave me suddenly, you left gradually. Watching us keep dying. We didn't raise his edge, we didn't fight or make a scene. We just stopped saying the things that kept our hearts in between. You kissed me like a habit, not the way you used to try. And I held you like a memory, hoping it would come alive. We didn't break in thunder, didn't shatter overnight. We faded in the silence like a candle losing light. We were quiet, we were dying, loving soft but slowly lying, holding on to what was gone, pretending we were still surviving. We were quiet, but we were dying, breaking slow without the crying. Some love doesn't crash or burn, it just stops trying. Your hands grew cold in mine, even when our fingers laced. Your touch was still familiar, but your heart felt out of place. We slept in the same darkness, but the distance filled the room. Two bodies still together, two souls running out of bloom. silence did what words should do. We were quiet, but we were dying. Loving soft, but slowly lying. Holding on to what was gone, pretending we were still surviving. We were quiet, but we were dying. Breaking slow without the crying. Some love doesn't crash or burn, it just stops trying. Maybe we were scared of hearing truths we couldn't take. Maybe silence felt much safer than a heart we'd have to break. But loving without speaking is the slowest way to fall. We didn't lose each other, we just lost it all. We were quiet, but we were dying. Letting go while still complying. Two hearts whispering goodbye, without a word, without defying. We were quiet, but we were dying. And now I finally see that silence isn't gentle. It's where love goes to bleed. I loved you like a lifeline, held you closer than my breath. You touched me like a whisper, but your heart stayed in your chest. I gave you all my colors, you kept yours behind a wall. I felt deeper every moment, you barely felt a thing at all. And I kept searching in your silence for a truth you couldn't show. Some hearts breaking volume, yours broke so I'd never know. These are the things you didn't feel, the ache that stayed inside my bones, the love that held me trembling when you barely felt it close. These are the things you didn't feel, the tears I cried you never knew. You touched my skin but not my soul. That part was just for you. Your heartbeat, but it always skipped my name. You smiled like you were present, but your eyes confessed the pain. You loved me out of comfort, I loved you cause it felt true. There's a difference in devotion that the quiet always knew. I carried all your softness, you carried all your doubt. I let my love fall inward, you kept yours safely out. These are the things you didn't feel, the ache that stayed inside my bones, the love that held me trembling when you barely felt it close. These are the things you didn't feel, the tears I cried you never knew. You touched my skin but not my soul. That part was just for you. hearts learn how to touch. I shouldn't blame your distance, but I still bleed where you were weak. Some loves don't fall together, some fall one way incomplete. These are the things you didn't feel, but maybe that's the saddest truth, that everything that broke in me barely even grazed you. These are the things you didn't feel, but I'm learning how to heal. 'Cause loving you was heavy, and your heart was never real. Yeah. You walked into my life, like you were searching for a bed, someplace warm to rest your wounds, someplace safe to lay your head. And I gave you all my softness, let you breathe inside my chest, never knowing I was only just a space for you to rest. And you held me like a promise, but your eyes told me the truth. You were loving me for comfort, not for something built to bloom. You love me like a temporary home, somewhere soft to fall asleep, a shelter for your heartache, not a soul you meant to keep. You love me like a temporary home, warm enough to ease your pain, but you never planned to stay here. You just needed out of rain. You whispered you were healing, and I held you through the night. But healing has a timeline I was never meant to ride. Oh, you kissed me like a refuge, like I kept your fears at bay. But you loved me like a sunrise, only briefly on your way. And I felt you slipping slowly once the hurt began to fade. You weren't loving me for me, just the comfort that I made. You love me like a temporary home, somewhere soft to fall asleep, a shelter for your heartache, not a soul you meant to keep. You love me like a temporary home, warm enough to ease your pain, but you never planned to stay here. You just needed out of rain. I wasn't built to be alone, but you held me like a stay, just until your storms were over, just until you found your way. And I know I shouldn't blame you, but it still hurts deep inside, being loved for what I offered, not the person in my mind. You love me like a temporary home, and now that you learn to heal, you're leaving with the sunshine while I cope with what I feel. You love me like a temporary home, but you'll always be my You used to hold me closely, like your heartbeat leaned on mine. But lately when you touch me, it feels hollow by design. Your hands still trace my shoulders, but your fire's not in your skin. You're touching me with memory, not the way you touched back then. And I felt it long before your body ever moved. Your heart stopped reaching for me, long before your hands approved. Your heart forgot my touch first, long before your body turned away. You used to tremble when you held me, now you barely even stay. Your heart forgot my touch first, I could feel it in your sighs. Love doesn't fade in footsteps, it fades behind the eyes. You kiss me out of habit, but the passion's grown too thin. Your lips don't hold the stories that they used to whisper in. You're close enough to breathe me, but you're far enough to lose. Your silence sings the truth now, in the warmth you don't produce. I felt the distance growing every night you turn away. Your heart was slipping quietly while your body chose to stay. Your heart forgot my touch first, long before your body turned away. You used to tremble when you held me, now you barely even stay. Your heart forgot my touch first, I could feel it in your sighs. Love doesn't fade in footsteps, it fades behind the eyes. I wish goodbye was sudden, not a slow untangling burn, but some love leaves in whispers, long before we see it turn. I held you when you needed, but I couldn't hold you still. Your heart left in the quiet, while you pretended that it will. Your heart forgot my touch first, before your fingers ever knew. You stopped loving me in spirit, while your body still came through. And I forgot my touch first, and that's what hurt the worst. Not the leaving of your footsteps, but the fading of your thirst. You touch me like a whisper, like you're scared to make me fall. But the way you hold my heart feels like you're barely here at all. Your hands are made of tenderness, but they tremble when they stay. Like love softness is a blessing, but it breaks me in my mind. You're soft enough to break me, even when you don't intend. You love me with a gentleness that cuts me in the end. You're soft enough to break me with every touch you try to say. Your heart is made of velvet, but it's digging like a grave. You breathe like you're uncertain, like you're learning how to kill. I reach out just to hold you, but sometimes you're barely there. You kiss me like confession, but you pull back like a sin. And I break a little deeper every time you breathe me in. I know your love is fragile, but it's powerful to me. And every soft surrender feels like losing clarity. You're soft enough to break me, even when you don't intend. You love me with a gentleness that cuts me in the end. You're soft enough to break me with every touch you try to save. Your heart is made of velvet, but it's digging like a grave. Maybe love is sweeter when it doesn't know its strength. Maybe hearts fall harder when the softness goes too late. You don't mean to hurt me, but it's written in your holes. Some hearts break in anger, yours breaks me being cold. You're soft enough to break me, and I still lean into the ache. Your tenderness is dangerous in the quiet love we make. You're soft enough to break me, but I choose you anyway. Some hearts are meant for gentle, but mine breaks for you each day. You used to want my shoulders with just a simple touch. Now even when you hold me, it doesn't feel like much. Your laughter once lit rooms, now it barely fills the space. And love that felt like fire turned to ashes on your face. We didn't fall in pieces, we just faded with the night. Some love turns into shadows long before it leaves the light. Where did our warmth go? I can feel it in your head. You're lying right beside me, but you're drifting where I can't stand. Where did our warmth go? It used to burn so close. Now the love we swore was endless feels colder than the most. We talk but it feels empty, like we're reading different lines. The comfort that we used to share got lost somewhere in time. Your smile is soft but distant. Your kiss no longer stays. Love shouldn't feel like winter in the middle of our days. I trace the shape of us now, but the edges don't line up. Your heart is beating gently, but it's no longer beating mine. Where did our warmth go? I can feel it in your hands. You're lying right beside me, but you're drifting where I can't stand. Where did our warmth go? We used to burn so close. Now the love we swore was endless feels colder than the moon. Maybe time stole pieces that we never meant to lose. Maybe love grows quiet when we stop choosing what we choose. But I still miss the fire, I still miss the golden nights, when loving you felt certain and your touch could hold me tight. Where did our warmth go? I keep asking in my chest. Love shouldn't feel this quiet when we're trying to do our best. Where did our warmth go? Maybe we'll never know. But losing heat in silence is the coldest way love goes. You hold me out of habit now, not the way you used to do. Your fingers feel like strangers, trying hard to move like you. You touch me with a distance that your body can't disguise. There's a silence in your hand when they're resting on my thighs. And you think I do not notice, but my skin knows when you lie. Love speaks louder in her fingers than in any alibi. Your hands don't say my name anymore. They don't tremble like before. You used to trace me like a language only lovers could explore. Your hands don't say my name anymore. They feel empty to the core, like they've forgotten how to hold me in the way they once adored. You pull me in but halfway, like you're scared of getting caught. The warmth that lived between us is a warmth you've long forgot. Your palms used to write stories on the curb beneath my skin. Now every touch feels borrowed, like you're somewhere else within. Your grip has lost its meaning, your kiss has lost its aim. You love me in your presence, but you're absent all the same. Your hands don't say my name anymore. They don't tremble like before. You used to trace me like a language only lovers could explore. Your hands don't say my name anymore. They feel empty to the core, like they've forgotten how to hold me in the way they once adored. I miss the way you touch me, like you memorized my soul, like every inch you rested on was a place you meant to hold. Now your touch feels quiet, more goodbye than it does home. And nothing breaks a heart as slow as the warmth that turns to stone. Your hands don't say my name anymore, and maybe that's the sign that love can fade from fingers long before it leaves the mind. Your hands don't say my name anymore, and I can't pretend it's fine when the hands that once said stay now only whisper you're not mine.
Healing had a timeline, mine would circle back to you. Every time I think I'm stronger, your memory pulls me through. You linger in the quiet, in the spaces I can't close, and love don't leave in pieces. It leaves slowly, I suppose. I wish the pain was louder, wish it broke me all at once. But heartbreak has its patience when it knows it's someone's love. If I could unlove you slowly, maybe then it wouldn't hurt. Maybe letting go in whispers hurts much less than when we pray. If I could unlove you slowly, maybe time will learn my heart. But every step away from you feels like tearing it apart. Tearing it apart. Your ghost lives in my fingers, in the way they reach for warmth. Your voice stays in my breathing, like a quiet kind of storm. I try to lose your presence in the things you used to touch, but even empty spaces still remember you too much. Some loves don't end in ending, they just fade like dying light. You don't lose them in the moment, you lose them night by night. If I could unlove you slowly, maybe then it wouldn't hurt. Maybe letting go in whispers hurts much less than when we pray. If I could unlove you slowly, maybe time would learn my heart. But every step away from you feels like tearing it apart. Maybe love was meant to stay, even when the person goes. Maybe some heart-taking color only fading never shows. If I could undo the memories one by one, I know I would. 'cause they feel too good. If I couldn't love you slowly, I might learn to breathe again. But loving you still holds me like a shadow on my skin. If I couldn't love you slowly, maybe peace would finally start. But some souls don't heal in moments, they heal one breaking heart and
We never had the sunshine, not the kind that lasts for long, but we held on to each other like our shadows made us strong. Your heart was bruised and quiet, mine was trembling to stay, but somehow we kept loving in our own uneven way. Maybe broken love still glows when the night owes it just runs. Maybe we weren't perfect, but we still made something bright. We loved in broken light, in the places pain could hide. You held me through the shadows where our fears and truths collide. We loved in broken light, and it still felt warm and right. Some hearts don't shine in daylight, they only glow at night. You carried all your wounds like they were warnings on your skin. I held you like forgiveness, let your storms come breaking in. We stitched our dreams together out of pieces we could find. And though it wasn't flawless, it was tender, real and kind. Something soft was in the crack, something gentle in the fight. Maybe love don't need perfection when two souls just fit the night. We loved in broken light, in the places pain could hide. You held me through the shadows where our fears and truths collide. We loved in broken light, and it still felt warm and right. Some hearts don't shine in daylight, they only glow at night. Maybe we were meant to meet in the space between repair. Two people with a tenderness, too fragile to compare. Even if we didn't last, there's a beauty in the truth. We love with every fracture and every bruise we grew. We loved in broken light, and I hold that till I fade. You were the glow in all my shadows, the warmth the darkness made. We loved in broken light, and it still feels soft and right. Some loves
perfect for the night.
Reached across the mattress where your body used to be. The cold feels like a stranger taking space you left in me. Your warmth is just a memory, but I still feel it sometimes. Like the night can't forget where your heartbeat used to rhyme. And I know you're gone for real, but my heart don't understand. It keeps searching for your presence, like it's still inside my hand. I fell asleep holding your ghost in the space where loved ones live. You're gone, but I still reach for you in ways I didn't mean to give. I fell asleep holding your ghost, 'cause your shadow never goes. You're a memory in my arms that my heart refuses to let go. Ooh. Your laughter haunts the corners, you still breathe in every room. The scent you left on my pillow hasn't learned how to resume. I tell myself it's over, but the night won't let me move. It keeps stitching you in echoes every time I feel the bruise. I try to fight the wanting, try to teach myself you're gone, but ghosts don't follow rules and love don't know when to move on. I fell asleep holding your ghost in the space where loved ones live. You're gone, but I still reach for you in ways I didn't mean to give. I fell asleep holding your ghost, 'cause your shadow never goes. You're a memory in my arms and my heart refuses to let go. Maybe healing takes a moment, maybe ghosts just take their time, but I swear I feel you breathing when the darkness hits my spine. If goodbye meant disappearing, why do you stay when nights get long? Your absence fills my chest like you never really moved on. I fell asleep holding your ghost, and I don't know how to stop. Your memory keeps returning to the places you forgot. I fell asleep holding your ghost in the silence you compose. You're not here anymore, but your ghost still feels like home. You didn't have to tell me, I heard everything. The way you stopped reaching for me
said more than your voice ever did. You looked at me like memory, not a place you wanna stay. I felt the story breaking by the things you didn't say. Your quiet held the secrets you were too afraid to speak. Love doesn't end in thunder, sometimes it dies in just a week. Your silence wrote the ending, every pause became a page. We fell apart in whispers as your heart began to fade. Your silence wrote the ending, and I read it in your eyes. You didn't stop loving loudly, you just started loving less with time. Ooh, yeah. You smiled like it was heavy, like a truth you try to hide. Your laughter felt like distance, dressed in something soft and kind. Oh, you touched me out of habit, not the way you used to breathe. And every gentle moment was a signal you would leave. I begged the night for rest, but your quiet told it all. I kept waiting for your voice, but silence made the final call. Your silence wrote the ending, every pause became a page. We fell apart in whispers as your heart began to fade. Your silence wrote the ending, and I read it in your eyes. You didn't stop loving loudly, you just started loving less with time. I wish you'd broken me with words, at least I'd know the reason why. But silence cuts the deepest, 'cause it doesn't let you cry. You left without the leaving, you stayed while walking out. In all the quiet moments, spill the truth I fear to doubt. Your silence wrote the ending, yeah. I just didn't want to see that the love I kept on holding, yeah, had already slipped from you to me. Your silence wrote the ending, yeah, long before the last goodbye. Sometimes heartbreak doesn't speak, it just slowly learns to die, yeah.